Next up, Russ and I are going to review The Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween H20, and Halloween Resurrection.
And don't forget, subscribe to us, like this video, click that bell so you can get notified for future videos.
Whatever.
October 4th, 4K Ultra HD from Scream Factory, the box set of the year. The Halloween 4K collection, 1995 to 2002, which is Halloween 6 through 8.
This is the most baffling release of all time.
Why are they doing this?
We've covered why, due to the rights issues and the stipulations that Scream has to put this out. But man, is it stupid.
Due to rights issues, you're right. They could not put them out individually. They had to come together. And they are arriving in a terrible outer box, but the insides have slips, receiving a handful of new features, but mainly it's just a visual upgrade. Is it worth the upgrade? We'll discuss shortly because there have been some reviews of this as well. And as Russ, you mentioned before, these films are widely known as some of the worst in the franchise. But today we're going to talk about why.
Fuck. Okay, there's no reason to get upset yet. Let's just calm down.
I guess we'll start at the most logical place, which is The Curse of Michael Myers, which is Halloween 6. 1995 film, directed by Joe Chappelle, who was the showrunner of The Wire. And then after that, he directed Phantoms.
Word, bitch. Phantom's like a motherfucker. What's up now?
Starring Donald Pleasance in his final film role and Paul Rudd in his first film role.
He's lucky it wasn't his final. He's painful to watch.
Sorry.
This film concludes the story arc, which started 4 and 5. So number 6 is kind of like the conclusion of those characters and what's going on with them. And in this film, Michael Myers still continuing to hunt the Strode family, killing the last surviving relatives. There might be a little bit more cult stuff going on. And
trust me, the fans love the cult aspect.
The fans love it.
The fans love that this explains why he's immortal.
I think it's cool.
No, but it also ties into 1 and 2 because it's Tommy Doyle, who Paul Rudd's playing.
Tommy Doyle?
The boy in the original that Laurie's watching.
Okay.
And if you're keeping up with the new releases, Halloween Kills, the character that Anthony Michael Hall is playing.
This movie, I guess, had a tough time being written, tough time being made.
Tough time watching.
Many aspects of this film were reworked real time, like on set, right there in that moment. They're like, this isn't working. Let's change that up, including things like the ending. At some point, Miramax just took over the whole production. They were like, look, things are getting like way out of control. Too many reshoots have been ordered. Like, we've got to get in here and like fix this problem.
We did come to a settlement. We did agree. And the version that went out was the Weinstein's version.
I don't know if this is true. This is something that I read to be true, which would be hilarious to me if it is that while this movie was being made, they kind of were playing around with a lot of different titles. Like, they didn't know what the title was going to be, even as they were shooting. And finally, the writer decided to go with The Curse of Michael Myers because of how cursed he felt putting this movie together.
What the hell happened this time?
The film, allegedly, I've never seen it, has sort of like a disjointed nature. And Joe Chappelle has come out and basically said, like, I was getting direction from this honcho, this Miramax person, this producer, and I just had to keep like changing things around and to fit everyone's narrative. That the movie just kind of suffered as far as the vision's concerned.
You don't have to be a film scholar to put that together.
I'm not.
And then of course there was always the fabled producer's cut that for years was unavailable until Scream put that out. As you said, if you just detailed the troublesome nature of the entire production. I don't care what cut you put together. This was a mess from the start. It's joyless.
Yeah.
All that pain that you just described, you feel it on the screen while you're watching it. To me personally, it is easily the worst Halloween film, and I'm even gonna put this below Rob Zombie's.
Not only did they change the ending, not only did they edit this thing down to where now things just appear even more confusing because so much stuff got cut out, but they even replaced Michael Myers for the reshoots. So when they came back to reshoot it, they were like, you know what? Michael Myers looks a little too bulky. So for the last third of the movie, Michael Myers appears thinner because he's a different actor. Why is it terrible? Like, tell me just a couple of thoughts. Like, what doesn't work about it?
There are so many elements. Like I said, we're dealing with Tommy Doyle. We're dealing with Jamie Lloyd. We're connected to the Danielle Harris character from 4 and 5. We got Loomis back. It just feels like it's trying to do so much and trying to like save this continuity. And then everything we just said, it's boring and it sucks.
Characters
on
suck.
top of that.
The kills
it's like,
suck,
dude,
all
just
that stuff.
forget it. Don't even care about the content. Just try and do a good movie. And then when you jump to H2O, they decided, let's retcon all this shit.
Let's make it better.
You can't watch it ironically. You can't watch it seriously. It's boring. Yeah, dude. It's easily, for me, my least favorite Halloween entry.
This movie, not only from fans but also critics, it was universally panned. And I don't even really follow this kind of stuff too much, but just it's funny to me that it got a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes.
No.
It trades the simple, brutal effectiveness for convoluted mysticism. And like you said, there was a producer's cut that was circulated out there with 45 minutes of additional footage and a different ending as well. And this version has a cult following, which eventually was put out on Blu-ray, and like you said, will be in this set. So that movie came out in 1995. 1998 is Halloween H2O, and that's Halloween 7, basically. And this is directed by a guy named Steve Miner, who directed Friday the 13th 2. He directed Friday the 13th 3. He directed House. He directed Soul Man.
What you looking at?
I didn't know that. I knew the others. I didn't know Soul Man.
He directed Soul Man.
Arguably the scariest film that he's made.
Sorry.
He directed Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. Did you know that? I didn't know that. I didn't even know Soul Man, but I definitely didn't know he directed Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken.
Easily my favorite Cliff Robertson performance.
Easily.
As you are aware.
So new director, new writers too. Now, he didn't write this movie, but apparently Kevin Williamson pitched the story for this movie.
Oh, it feels like a Kevin Williamson film. It definitely does.
Yeah, so he definitely was involved, but he didn't actually write the script. And this one stars Jamie Lee Curtis. This one stars Michelle Williams.
Really?
Josh Hartnett and LL Cool J.
Yes.
He's here. LL Cool J. Following Curse of Michael Myers, this film was a reboot of the series, acting as a sequel to Halloween 1 and 2. Laurie Strode, who was written to have faked her own death, has now been again found by Michael Myers. That's the plot of H2O. Jamie Lee Curtis, it took her a while to come back to this series.
You have to remember, it was a payday for me. No, I'm not joking. I mean, I got paid.
And according to legend, she didn't want to come back if Michael Myers was going to live again. Like, she wanted to be on a movie that was like, okay, Michael Myers is going to die in this movie, and that's the only way I'm going to come back. However, one of the producers, there was like some contract or something that he written up that basically said, you can't kill Michael Myers. Like, we're going to keep on making these movies.
There's a clause in the contract that says you can't kill him.
So the compromise that they made in order to get Jamie Lee on the movie was to basically make it appear like he's dead in this one without having him come back in the last 2 seconds and just basically waiting until a sequel was then announced. Like, she knew a sequel was going to come, but she wanted people to at least feel like, okay, he's dead at the end of this one. I don't know. I've never seen it, but that's what I read.
She chops his head off.
So he's dead.
Yeah.
So he gets killed.
No.
She, I guess, was contractually obliged to come back for the next one in this box set because she's in there.
She's back.
I mean, I got paid.
So this movie fared better with critics.
Yeah, it's underrated.
It had a $17 million budget and a $75 million box office hit. So the one before it was $5 million budget, $15 million box office. This was $17 million budget, $75 million box office.
And you know what's funny? So like I said, I think this one's underrated.
Yeah, why? Why is this one much better? Like, why did the fans come back for this one?
Because it corrected everything we just complained about with
all that
6.
mysticism junk is gone.
I don't know. I'm talking about even on a production level. Paul Rudd was terrible. That all the actors are terrible. Say what you will about these, but these are names. I know who Josh Hartnett is. Michelle Williams has proven herself to be a great actress.
LL Cool J.
Seriously, don't diss LL Cool J.
Sorry.
Jamie Lee Curtis. You've got Janet Leigh coming in here. There's a lot of
Leigh.
Dude, there's a lot of Psycho references in it too. That feels very Kevin Williamson too.
Yeah.
It's just a reference previous horror films.
So this one's good. It's not terrible.
No, it's good.
But when
it's
you
good.
said to me about this box set, you said no one's excited to have these 3. These are arguably the worst 3 in the whole series. What about this one? I thought, but this one's okay or no?
For me, it is. I think your typical Halloween fan didn't want to see Michael Myers, especially like I said, now that we're so far removed from that era. They just don't like that Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, urban legend treatment to the Halloween series.
Yeah.
But by now, we've had Rob Zombie, we've had these modern ones. It's like, this is a good one
Right.
compared to everything else we've seen this franchise do.
Would you feel comfortable watching in this order Halloween 1, Halloween 2, and then Halloween H2O. And
Yes.
like that's a trilogy
Yes.
that I can stand behind, and that's it.
Yes, and I'll even say this: the newer like retcon sequels, the Halloween Kills and all that,
Yeah.
they essentially take this plot, and I'd say H2O does it better than the newer movies, where they just try to make her Sarah Connor.
I've waited for him.
This would probably be in my top 5 of all the Halloween films.
Well, so they managed to kill Michael Myers in this one. So I guess that's fitting that the next Halloween film in this box set and in the series is called Halloween Resurrection. Which came out in 2002. This one's directed by Rick Rosenthal, who directed Halloween 2, Jamie Lee Curtis, Tyra Banks, Busta Rhymes, and Henry Rowan Gardner himself, Thomas Ian Nicholas. This one picks up on the H2O timeline before Halloween gets rebooted again in 2007 and then gets rebooted again in 2018. The story here is Myers' rampage continues in Haddonfield, where his home is used for like a live streaming horror show. This was panned by critics completely, and they basically said it's an unnecessary sequel to H2O. It's devoid of joy and energy. It makes Jason X look Shakespearean.
Oh, shit, man.
And fans have called it the worst of the series.
When you brought up the fact that I said these are the ones that the fans hate the most, I was mainly pointing to Resurrection. I think 6 is worse.
6 is worse.
It's devoid of energy. That's the problem. It's not devoid of joy. Dude, Busta Rhymes, Kung Fu fighting, Michael Myers. I don't care. That's worth the price of admission alone. You know, for a long time, I would have maybe gone with the masses and said this is the worst one over 6. But a friend of mine once said about 8, this is Halloween Part 8.
Get over it.
Seriously.
Get over yourself.
And it was like, what are you expecting at this point? There is more enjoyment to be had in 8 than Part 6. I'm not saying it's objectively a good film or maybe even objectively better, but there is more entertainment and enjoyment from 8 than 6.
Got you.
But it is a shitty movie.
That's what I'm looking for.
The worst part was bringing Laurie back
Yeah.
and giving her they kill her. There was something contractual
Yeah.
that she had to go back.
And so that's why, sadly, I'm in Resurrection. Sadly.
So in 2018, John Carpenter, who was doing press for the 2018 Halloween, he was asked about this one, and this was his quote. I watched the one in that house with all the cameras. Oh my God. Oh Lord God. And then the guy gives the speech at the end about violence. What the hell? Oh my Lord. I couldn't believe it. From the John Carpenter.
There's no point to its existence. It doesn't add anything. It kind of just slaps H2O in the face.
Yeah.
And Laurie Strode, who is the heart of the first one.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. She's she doesn't want to be there.
I mean, I got paid.
But I did stumble upon this interesting little graphic for those that might be a little confused about in what order you might want to watch some of these movies if you care to do that. Because there is a lot of convoluted timelines and one-offs. But so you're saying watching 1, 2, then dipping down to Halloween H2O?
That's exactly what I said.
Yep. But skip this. Don't watch Resurrection. Just let Michael Myers die and it be over.
No.
This series has been released just like Evil Dead thousands of times, numerous different ways, with the Scream Factory box set probably being the cornerstone of anyone's Halloween collection, if you were so lucky to get that.
It's only Halloween.
But now we're back, slowly getting all these individuals. Now you're getting this 3-pack. At some point, Rob Zombies will come out at some point, maybe these new ones too. And then you'll ultimately get that whole box set. As far as what the discs look like, High Def Digest, they have some information on what it looks like. What they do mention is that the Curse of Michael Myers has a little bit of a different color timing than what people are used to. So if you are a fan of this movie, a diehard fan, you might notice that be a little bit different. There has been a notable shift in the color timing for both cuts of Curse. It can be a tad dramatic. The first thing folks will likely notice is that shadows are much deeper. Whites are crisper and more natural, pure white than before, and in past discs, whites had been more of a pinkish tone, and that's no longer an issue here. Skin shades are also less pinkish, but still look like people who live in the Midwest in the fall and can't get a tan. The other ones, I guess, enhance the presentation in general overall, this review is saying that everything looks really good.
I feel for him because you can clearly see Scream wants to put all of these out as solo releases with those slips.
Yeah.
And they just can't with these 3. And they got to get them out there. And if you are, there are plenty of people out there, I'm sure, who are completists with the Halloween franchise. If you want all these in 4K solo releases with those slips, you got to buy this box.
Yep.
But it's so weird because, like I said, it makes no sense. There's no real connective tissue. It would have made more sense if they would have released 4, 5, and 6 together.
Yeah.
And you know that's probably what they wanted to do. So I can't complain about the set that much, knowing that, you know, their hands were tied behind their backs.
Just wait for the box set, everyone.
Yeah,
Just wait. Come on, guys. Now, I wonder if they'll use that same box configuration as
Box is
before.
so sweet.
And just wrap like a 4K, you know, like label around the top, and like that's what you're going to get.
And that's what I'm saying. So even if they do a new box, I don't even think I'd upgrade. I would just pick up the original Halloween in 4K.
Gotcha. Well, that's out now for anybody that's interested.
There is NOCHANCE that I will ever be in another Halloween movie unless a freaking big ass payday for Jamie.